Wait, what is going on here? I hope I'm recording myself and not the screen. Okay, I think we're set. This always takes forever, every single time. I'm not even going to do the whole waiting for people to join thing because it's going to be posted after. So, welcome back to That's Debatable. I messed up my intro again. Welcome back to That's Debatable, everybody. I hope you're having a wonderful day. And if you are not, you have come to the right place because we talk about whatever the hell we want over here. Today, we got quite a few things to talk about. Firstly, the light is working. I don't think it was working last podcast, and the lighting was terrible. So it's actually better. Plus, it's daytime outside. Lighting isn't always great in a basement, so it's good that we have a light shining down on us, and you can see me clear. So yeah, we have quite a few things to talk about. First, we're going to talk about the schedule for That's Debatable because I mentioned it before, but I didn't really go into depth of what it's going to be like, and it's pretty much the same answer. It's it's going to be whenever the hell I want, honestly. I'm not going to do a specific schedule for That's Debatable like how I did when I first did this podcast. It's definitely not going to be every day, as you guys have seen. Because I remember I was doing Monday through Friday. It was like I was working a damn 9 to 5 doing this podcast, and it became a chore. And so doing it every day was not helping me at all. And so I'm honestly going to do it whenever the hell I want. And so you guys are just going to have to keep track with the stories, my Instagram stories and stuff like that as to when I'm going to go live. Or I'll always give a 5-minute warning. Like I always post on my story, I'm going live in 5 minutes. And then obviously you guys see when I go live anyway. So that's pretty much it. And then for the guys on YouTube, it's on YouTube. For the guys on Instagram, for the guys that I'm recording for here, it's going to be on YouTube anyway. And so, yeah, you'll get to rewatch it. It's not on Instagram Reels anymore. I always delete the Instagram Reels now when, I finish the live because it's going to be on YouTube. But yeah, we have quite a few things to talk about. We're actually going to start off talking about football. It's been a minute. It has been a minute. Don't think I forgot about football, though. Last night, and I feel like I'm back in my territory now, talking about football, talking about sports again. But last night, the Cheifs versus the Bucs. I was expecting a lot more of a competitive game. I think we all were. Expecting more of a competitive game. And we didn't get a competitive game. We didn't get a competitive game at all. I believe the final score was 41-21. Cheifs absolutely dismantled the Tampa Bay Bucs. I was watching ESPN this morning, and I rewatched it actually, and I saw everyone's different opinion, and it's time to share mine because mine is the one that matters the most. I'm playing, but Patrick Mahomes looked amazing. He played well. And I saw somebody on ESPN, I think it was Michael Irving, or Dan Orlovsky, one of the two. But Patrick Mahomes does things that coaches tell you not to do because they tell you you're not going to win that way if you play like that. But Patrick Mahomes wins playing the way he does. And I saw a great comparison today. I think Patrick Mahomes is the Steph Curry of the NFL because Steph Curry also does the things that coaches tell you not to do. Right, you're always taught to, in basketball, you're always taught to line your elbow up with the net and everything and have perfect form. Steph Curry, he comes and chucks it up, and that's what coaches tell you not to do. Right, they tell you not to pull from 30 feet, right, because you're gonna lose, you're gonna miss. And Steph Curry does it, and he wins that way. He just won a chip. And Patrick Mahomes, Super Bowl champion, playing the way that he does, and so that's that really. The Chiefs dismantled the Bucs, and that was something. That was I was not impressed. I was kind of bored at halftime. I wouldn't say bored. Hey, up until halftime, I was pretty entertained. I actually went out in the middle of the second quarter, but I came back, and then I was on a FaceTime call for the rest of the game, and I was still watching, but there wasn't much to watch because it was literally just the Chiefs dismantling the Bucs. The Bucs scored a touchdown or two, a field goal, and then that was really it for them. Um, Obviously, Kansas City doesn't have Tyreek Hill anymore, and they are missing a few components that they did have initially. But Tampa Bay's defense sucked. Oh my goodness. Like they were running the ball on them. They were passing on them. Tampa Bay couldn't stop anything. And it was really sad. Really sad. Um but Deji's fighting Floyd Mayweather. How the hell did that happen? Um I don't know how this came about. I talked about this briefly on the last episode of this podcast, but I didn't really take it seriously because I didn't think it was going to happen. Because I honestly, and I don't mean this to disrespect Deji, because obviously I have huge respect for Deji. He was 0-3, came back and won a fight. Finally, took a lot of guts to get in the ring that many times, to lose that many times, and then to keep on going, not give up, and then win a fight. But I didn't even know Floyd Mayweather knew who Deji was. I had no clue that he was aware of who Deji was. I know, and I guess it makes sense because he knows who Logan Paul is. He knows who Jake Paul is, of course. Obviously, he knows who Logan Paul is. He fought him. And I'm pretty sure he knows who KSI is. And he probably sees that KSI is busy and all that stuff. He probably doesn't want to fight another Paul. Well, no, Jake Paul is fighting somebody else. We're going to talk about that just now, actually. So he's like, hey, why not go for somebody who just picked up their first win and fight Deji? And I'm gonna roll with Deji here, and and I'm being completely biased. And this is not a analytical prediction or whatever, because like statistically, Floyd Mayweather wins. Right, on paper, he wins. And I believe this is an exhibition, so I don't think it's gonna count on any records or anything like that. Kind of like how they did with Logan Paul and Floyd. But yeah, I don't think, yeah, they're doing an exhibition. But hey, I gotta go with Deji. I gotta go with Deji. I gotta go with my YouTube guys because I've been watching Deji for NKSI for a minute, like for a hot minute, and I gotta support them. I gotta support them no matter what. I don't care if they're facing the Lord himself. I got I gotta roll with Deji. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Deji. I think this goes to the I'll say third round. I'll say third. I believe they're fighting 8. I believe they're fighting 8 rounds. I believe this goes to the third round, max 4, maximum 4 rounds. But I'm saying the third round, somebody gets knocked out, whether it's Deji, whether it's Floyd Mayweather. But hey, we always talk about in boxing a puncher's chance. Imagine, imagine. I heard this on another podcast. Floyd Mayweather takes his eye off the ball for 1 minute. Maybe sees a girl in the front row and takes his eye off the ball for 1 minute, and Deji just knocks out Floyd Mayweather, and history is made. Deji is the greatest boxer. Imagine that though. Floyd Mayweather takes his eye off the ball for 1 second, and then that puncher's chance is in the favor of Deji, and then boom. Hey, anybody has a chance of losing it when you get in the boxing ring, right? You lose focus for a minute, boom. There's a chance that you could lose. I feel like Deji's taking this seriously. I feel like he's taking this very seriously. He went on a podcast and said that he's actually going for the knockout. So I actually have a feeling that he's taking this seriously. Floyd Mayweather is obviously not taking this seriously. He's in it for the bag. Is Floyd Mayweather broke? Because I'm genuinely curious about that. Is Floyd Mayweather broke? I don't understand. If he has all this money, why is he doing these useless fights that have nothing that have nothing for him. Um, and I'm hearing people saying that he's not broke. I'm hearing people saying that he is broke. Obviously, the only person who knows that Floyd Mayweather is broke is Floyd Mayweather himself. I don't know what is going on. I don't know why he's taking these random fights, but obviously he's in it just for the money. But I genuinely think Floyd Mayweather is dead broke because why is he fighting Deji? Why is he fighting a YouTuber who was just 0-3 and picked up his first win? I don't understand why Floyd takes these fights. I remember he fought like a guy who just came into the pros after, he had a pretty good amateur background. See, that I understand. I mean, he was in that for the money as well, but that I understand. But Logan Paul and now Deji just doesn't make sense to me. I can't comprehend why he would fight Deji. But Jake Paul versus Anderson Silva. We're switching topics here because we've talked enough about Deji versus Floyd Mayweather because I've made my prediction with that and how I feel about that. I didn't even think it was going to happen. But Jake Paul versus Anderson Silva. Now, in the past, I have not been very nice to Jake Paul. I have been quite an ass to Jake Paul because I was a bit biased. However, I have changed. People change. I change. Jake Paul has actually done a lot for boxing, and completely throwing my biasness aside because when him and KSI fight, I'm gonna be back in KSI. But Jake Paul, you can't put anything past him because he's actually done a lot for the sport of boxing, and I actually respect what he's done for the sport of boxing. And there's going to be all these people that don't pay attention to YouTube boxing and that are actually boxing fanatics and saying that, oh, he's a YouTuber boxer, he's not a real boxer. Last I checked, he has a pro record, and he may not be fighting pro boxers. He may not be fighting boxers at all. However, he's still boxing. He's still a boxer, and he's getting up there. He beat Tyron Woodley, who is, was known for a pretty good striker in the UFC. And then people made excuses that he was a grappler. Ben Askren was a grappler, yes, but this is a guy that fought Robbie Lawler in the UFC and took a hit from Robbie Lawler. I don't think Jake Paul's fights are rigged. I think, I believe, I can't remember who said this, but he said the exact same thing. I believe he picks his opponents very carefully, though. I don't think his fights are rigged. He picks his opponents very carefully. But back to the topic of who he's fighting. I believe ending of October or something like that. It's a week before Crown Jewel. I know that too for WWE people. He's fighting Anderson Silva. And yes, Anderson Silva is 47, 48 years old. He's pushing 50. However, this is still one of the UFC greats. And when you have it, you have it. Right? And Anderson Silva he fought just recently, and he fought pretty good. He won his recent boxing match, if I'm not mistaken. If that's wrong, please correct me. But yeah, Anderson Silva, from what I know, he won his recent boxing match. He still has it, and I've seen his training. Anderson Silva is still there, and this is a guy that was, I'd say, pretty good in the UFC. But yeah, Anderson Silva, one of the best UFC fighters that there ever was, is fighting Jake Paul. And now, you could say as much as you want about Anderson Silva pushing 50. Like I said, Anderson Silva still has it. This is still a guy that can strike and will give Jake Paul a challenge. Now, if Jake Paul beats Anderson Silva, there's going to be the people that's saying, oh, Anderson Silva's too old, or Anderson Silva's this and that. Last I checked, unlike Ben Askren, Anderson Silva's training for this fight, right? And I don't know who wins this. I think it goes to decision. I believe they're fighting 8 rounds. I believe this goes to decision. I don't know who wins yet. I don't have a bold prediction of who wins yet. But I do think that this goes all the way because it did go to decision with Tyron Woodley. It went to decision with Tyron Woodley the first time. I keep forgetting that they did fight twice. If I'm not mistaken, I believe they fought because it went to decision and then they had a rematch or whatever. Um, kept losing track of the whole YouTube boxing scene for a minute, and so. But anyway, it did go to decision the first time with Tyron Woodley, so I think he goes to decision with Anderson Silva. I just don't know if he wins the decision, right? Because Anderson Silva is going to put up a fight. Like I said, this is one of the UFC greats. He's going to put up a fight against Jake Paul. Jake Paul is going to put up a fight against him. There's no doubt in my mind about that. We've seen the little clips of Jake Paul training. So I think this goes all the way, 8 rounds to decision. It goes to the judges, but I don't know who wins. I don't have a firm prediction yet, but I will soon. I will soon. Maybe closer to the fight, I'll have a bold prediction. But yeah, that is that. What else do we have to talk about today? We have WWE. WWE, what's going on with WWE? We have Extreme Rules this Saturday. We have Monday Night Raw tonight, of course. Candice LeRae returned last week, so that was interesting. I don't know what their plans are for Candice LeRae. Obviously, I don't know what their plans are for anybody because I don't work for WWE. So, but I don't know what they're going to do with Candice LeRae. Um, I don't know if they're going to have her in some sort of tag team or what they're going to do. Um, but I'm interested to see in what they do. Um, I also don't know where they're going with this whole Kevin Owens and Johnny Gargano thing with Theory and Alpha Academy. I really don't know. Austin Theory, sorry. But I just don't know where that's going. I don't know where that's going to lead to because Kevin Owens is obviously a baby face. I don't see them turning him heel anytime soon because he just turned babyface pretty much. Um, yeah, I don't know where they're going with that. It is comedy though. It is entertaining what they're doing with Johnny Gargano and Kevin Owens, and Gargano and Owens make a good team. They make a good tag team. Right, these are two talented guys that I don't mind seeing tagging. But obviously, the tag team that everybody wants to see is Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, best friends for how long? Two Canadians. Um, that's the tag team we all want to see, and we saw a glimpse of that on SmackDown when Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens had that little interaction in the backstage as Kevin Owens was going out, saying that Sami Zayn needs a new shirt, obviously referring to his shirt with the bloodline. But yeah, there's that. We also have a very interesting match: Seth Rollins versus Matt Riddle at Extreme Rules in a fight pit with Daniel Cormier being the special guest referee. That isn't something I did not see coming. I think this is perfect, though. I think this is absolutely perfect. There was somebody else that they had in mind for the fight pit match, but they ended up going with the better decision, Daniel Cormier, to be the special guest referee for this match. So I'm actually really excited to see that. And yeah, obviously, if you guys are not familiar with Daniel Cormier, most of you are, but he is one of the best UFC fighters ever. One of the best UFC heavyweights, to be exact. Obviously retired now, but yeah, um, interested to see that as well. Um, there was other stuff that we had to talk about today, and I knew I was gonna forget it. I knew I was gonna forget what I was gonna talk about today. But yeah, WWE is going pretty strong. We have Monday Night Raw tonight. Um, NXT is pretty solid right now. AEW, AEW is actually they need some cleaning up to do. They have some cleaning up to do. FTR is pretty pissed of how they're being treated because they've been number one contenders for 6 months for the AEW tag titles and have not gotten a shot. They haven't been on TV since AEW All Out. And I'm pretty pissed myself because I like FTR. A lot of us like FTR. and they haven't been booked, and that's a problem. We also have the CM Punk problem, and oh my gosh, CM Punk is a good wrestler. Do not get me wrong. I love CM Punk, and I've been a fan of his for years. However, this guy is an asshole in the locker room, and it's quite annoying. And I'm not even in the locker room, right? And now it goes to show that in WWE, he wasn't the WWE wasn't the problem. He was the problem the entire time, and it's unfortunate. I was talking about this with a friend last night. CM Punk is a good wrestler. He's a really good. He's one of the best wrestlers that we've seen. But when it comes to the locker room, he just cannot coexist with everybody, right? It's always he has a problem with somebody, and it's the press conference was obviously not scripted. There was rumors that it was scripted, but they're talking about releasing CM Punk, which honestly they should. AEW should release CM Punk, and CM Punk. This is harsh. CM Punk should retire from professional wrestling because he cannot coexist with anybody. CM Punk should leave the industry of professional wrestling, maybe get a 9 to 5 somewhere, maybe get a commentary job somewhere. I have no clue, but leave the world of professional wrestling. He's done enough. He had one of the best reigns as WWE champion, 434 days. But right now he's too injury prone. He has yet another injury, and that's why he had to relinquish the AEW World Championship. Probably why he went on the press conference and cussed a whole bunch of people out, the Young Bucks, Kenny Omega, all of them, and then led to a fight backstage. He probably knew he was going to be out, and that's why he went ahead and just started cussing everybody. But it's unfortunate that I have to come to the conclusion that I have to say CM Punk should retire. Because if he wasn't a pest in the locker room, none of this would be happening, right? Obviously, he'd still be away. He'd still, be away with injury, which is obviously another problem. And that comes with age, right? Because CM Punk is also kind of pushing 50. He's in mid-40s. I'm pretty sure. I'm not sure the exact age. I think maybe 46 or something like that. But he went away for 7 years, of course, when he left WWE in 2014, comes back and had a pretty solid year, and then he's back to being a pest in the locker room. And this is a guy that came back, said he wanted to put younger talent over, but then is the AEW World Champion, and then goes ahead and cusses out that same younger talent. And to go ahead and cuss out guys like Hangman Adam Page, Kenny Omega, the Young Bucks, guys who were there, or especially the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega, who were there at the start of AEW, right? I believe Hangman was there too. But guys who really helped found AEW, the company that welcomed you after 7 years of absence, you go ahead and cuss them off in a press conference. I find that pretty disrespectful. I wouldn't take that either if I was Kenny Omega, Hangman, or the Young Bucks, because those are guys that helped build AEW. Obviously, Cody Rhodes helped as well, but he's in WWE now, injured. Hopefully, he's back soon. But speaking of injuries, Randy Orton. I was talking about this with a few friends. Randy Orton has a serious back injury, and apparently WWE is concerned about Randy Orton and his back injury. Now, Randy Orton went on record and said he has about 10 more years left in him. He could wrestle till he's 50. However, we don't know how serious this back injury really is. He might have maybe 4 years left, depending on how serious this back injury is. And people aren't really taking that into consideration, that they're saying, Randy's got 10 more years left in him. He's got so many years left in him. But back injuries are pretty serious, especially when WWE doctors are, when they say something is serious, it's serious. And so they're saying another 6 months Randy won't be back at least. So that even that goes past the Royal Rumble. He may not be at the Royal Rumble. He might miss WrestleMania as well, and so that's unfortunate. That is really unfortunate because I was looking forward to Randy Orton coming back. I don't think there's a single person that loves professional wrestling that doesn't miss Randy Orton, because there there really is not much of WWE without Randy Orton. This is a 14-time world champion, and if he really does have 10 more years left in him, when he comes back, this is a guy that can break Ric Flair's record and become that 17-time world champion. It would also be amazing because Ric Flair mentored Randy Orton. But yeah, that's what we have to talk about in the professional wrestling world. AEW is a shit show right now. Even though they put on a pretty good show at Grand Slam, and they put on a pretty good Dynamite episode. Also, Soraya is I'm gonna call her Soraya for now because I forgot how to pronounce her name. Soraya is back, aka Paige from WWE. That was interesting. Looks like they're gonna start up a program with her and Britt Baker, so that's gonna be interesting as well. But yeah, that's all we really have to talk about. I know I'm forgetting something. I know for a fact I'm forgetting something to talk about something, and I'm gonna look at my notes and I'm gonna be like, shit. But that's all that I remember that we have to talk about today. And yeah, that's going to wrap up this podcast. This was, I don't know which one was longer. This one was the last one. I feel like this one was longer. I feel like I talked more for this one. And I'm losing my voice right now, so I'm going to go drink some water. But yeah, that's going to wrap up this podcast. I will see you guys in the next podcast. If you guys missed it, obviously you wouldn't be hearing this right now, but it'll be on YouTube. The podcast will be up on YouTube. It might take forever to post. Hopefully YouTube doesn't find a way to copyright me. I'm just joking. Before we go, actually, I remembered two more things I wanted to talk about. See? I knew this would happen. For those of you that remember HBW, I had teased it coming back. And then I talked to Crip Walking. If you guys don't know, I ran HBW, for God's sake. Like, if you didn't put that together, then I mean you're pretty slow. But I talked to the HBW World Champion, Crip Walking Spider-Man, and they are not interested in returning to HBW. And so she's not interested in returning to HBW. So HBW will not be continuing, unfortunately. I will be going on how I said I was going to go on, continue with my professional wrestling career. I know. Continuing with my professional wrestling career, starting training in November. And yeah, that's what's going to happen. Unfortunately, HBW will not come back. JC will not be around for quite a while, but you will see him around. He told you that that it won't be the last time you see him, and he wasn't lying. You will see him sometime down the road, whether it's next year, the year after. You'll see him somewhere, whether it's under a different name or something. And also, the reaction videos. I know I said I'm quitting them, and I stick by that. But if I might try and record a couple. I might try and record a couple reaction videos, and if it gets copyrighted, I'm tossing this laptop because, but yeah, I might try and bring the reaction videos back. Try is the key word, right? A lot of my friends who are artists haven't hit me up recently. They haven't really been dropping anything. Greasy hasn't dropped anything recently, from what I recall. Tara Lord hasn't dropped anything recently. I have no clue what Big Fresco's doing. I gotta hit him up and see what he's doing. See if he's dropped anything. And Merkems, I don't think has dropped anything recently either. And those are my guys. And then obviously that the Jaden that I reacted to, I don't believe has dropped anything either. So those are my people that I don't get copyrighted. And Aston Young Fiji hasn't dropped anything. I won't say his real name. I don't know if he wants me to say his real name on here, but Young Fiji hasn't dropped anything either. So those are my guys that don't get me copyrighted, and so I don't I don't know what's going on there. They need to drop something so I can maybe bring back the reactions. Maybe all of them get together and I don't imagine. Um, and imagine they call it JTK. That would be perfect, right? A song just for me. Oh my goodness! You know how many times I would play that with those six on the song. but yeah, the reaction videos may or may not come back. I can't promise you that they will, because copyrights are a pain in the ass. Like they suck. Beg. um, I know, right? Um, oh my gosh. Anyway, so yeah, that's the update on the reaction videos. They may or may not come back. Um, but Greasy, Tara Lord, Young Fiji, Fresco, Merkems, drop something, please. Like, if you guys want the reactions to come back, one of y'all gotta drop something, and I'll react to it for sure. But other than that, it's gonna get copyrighted. I wanted to react to Young Boy. I wanted to react to DDG's new song. I wanted to react to KSI's new song. I don't know if KSI's song will get copyrighted. I don't know. I think maybe KSI might be lenient on that one. But Annalie Choppa, Young Boy, Polo G, TJ, um, Jack Harlow, a whole bunch of other people, my shit will get copyrighted. So that's unfortunate. Um, but yeah, that's all I had to talk about. Watch me remember something else. But yeah, that's gonna wrap it up for today. I will see you guys in the next podcast, whenever the hell that is. And like I told you, it's whenever the hell I want, really. So it seems so rude. Whenever the hell I want. Hey Josh, when's the next podcast? Whenever the hell I want to record one. Um, but yeah, my voice goes like off when I talk for this long. So obviously it can't be every day. I remember when I did that every day, I got a really bad sore throat. But I'm gonna stop rambling. I'll see you guys in the next podcast. Go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube channel. JTK channel, I believe, is back in my link in my bio on Instagram. So go subscribe to that if you haven't. For my YouTube people, go ahead and follow my Instagram if you want to watch this. If you want to watch the podcast live. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next video. Subscribe to the channel. Follow me on Instagram for YouTube people, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Take it easy. But